Expectations. My name is Brandi Rose. I'm excited to be here with you along with my wonderful, beautiful partner, Halie.
Hello.
We are here to tell you another story and share another experience of someone living or growing up in a small town. And this week, we want to remind you that you can follow us on lots of different types of social media. We are officially on every type of social media, not as active on some as we are on others. You can follow us on Twitter, smalltownexpectations_podcast. Just search it, you'll find it. And Facebook, we're Small Town Expectations Podcast. Instagram, same thing. You can follow us on Rad Brandi. You can follow us on Snapchat. I'm Rad Brandi. And of course, visit radbrandi.com if you are having problems or you want to you want to refer somebody over to our website so that they can listen online. It's radbrandi.com. You can listen to all of the episodes right there. And hopefully you can listen to all of the episodes on Apple iTunes where you can like and rate and, hopefully you give us 5 stars. That is how more people learn about this wonderful little podcast is from your ratings and your comments. So head on over there and do that faux show because we want everybody to know about this wonderful little podcast.
Go to radbrandi.com, specifically because I designed that web page.
That's a really good reason.
It's pretty cool, though, because everybody who's on the podcast, we were like, send us a picture. What do you want people to see? And so you can see those pictures there. And it's like a quick link to whatever we talk about. I think it's like a hyperlink. Yeah. Is that still a term they use?
I think so.
Everything's a link.
Yeah.
You just click on it and go, or on the Facebook page, and then you can stalk their Facebook page.
Yeah. Well, also, Halie makes a good point. You can go on radbrandi.com so that you can see photos of the people who are being interviewed. We post other photos on the website. So in your link, you might see a picture of the person, or on Facebook, we always post a picture on Facebook of the person who's being interviewed. And telling their story. But on that one, we show extra little photos of like their childhood or funny photos of them now, that kind of thing. And you don't get to see those if you don't go to the website.
Yep.
So definitely check that out. Also, if you would like to tell your story and get a little vulnerable and just, give people a little something to listen to, you can be a part of that by emailing smalltownpodcast@yahoo.com. If you're having problems, let us know on Facebook or whatever. We'll help you out. And if you know us personally, hit us up because we love having other people come on this podcast. And that's genuinely how we got today's guest. We'll tell you more about her in just a minute. First, we want to talk about communities. We always have a moment where we talk about some type of community. And today we're talking about work communities. Halie and I had some really cool experiences this week with folks that we work with. And I just want to say, individually, we work with really incredible people.
Yep.
I think so. I share an office with 2 incredible people. One of them, their birthday was this past week, Rachel. Happy birthday, Rachel. And Rachel's probably the person that I'm closest with in the office, but then there's Shannon and Andrea, Donald, all of them. I have a special relationship with all of them, but it's really neat when I get the opportunity to hang out with them outside of work. And so I got to have that this past week where I went to one of those painting, I don't know if you call it a painting party. It's like
a party.
Yeah, sure. Where you pay somebody.
I've never actually been to one.
No. Yeah, seriously?
They're always God. Like, come and drink and paint, and I'm like, meh.
There was no drinking at this one. It was at Fuddruckers. So we ate burgers. I think I was the only person. I was like, paint. I was like, at one point, I was waiting for my painting to dry. I was just reaching around my easel and just eating French fries.
Nice.
Right. I was the little chubby kid in the room that was like, I love French fries.
That's awesome.
So dorky. But yeah, so I got to have that experience with Rachel and Shannon where we painted a cute little penguin in a snow scene. And we've been planning on doing this for, I don't know, probably a month and a half at least. And it fell perfect because of Rachel's birthday. And so I don't know, it was just really neat to go and have that moment with those sweet, sweet people, those wonderful ladies that I just appreciate them in my life. And they're so talented. Like each one of us had our little painting was like vastly different. And then of course you start walking around and everybody else in that room are strangers. Like I don't know anybody else in the room and everybody's looked different. It was really cool just to see everybody's different talent, you know? So it was neat. So I love the community that I work with and I just really appreciate the people that I get to be around.
You work with cool people.
I know.
I'm like a celebrity when I go into your office.
They love you.
It's funny.
It's crazy.
Good people, though.
Yeah.
And you guys all work. I think it, takes a special person to do the kind of work you guys do.
For sure. It's neat. So Halie also had a moment with her people, and then tell us about that.
I just work with a bunch of good people. Like, I work at a high school, so I feel like teachers are a different breed. Administrators, secretaries, all of them. And every day, like the students are, students. Sometimes they're the best part of the day and sometimes they're not the best part of the day. But every day at lunch, I call them my boys. I eat lunch with the boys, the ceramics teacher and the band teacher. But throughout the 5 years that I've worked there, the friendships just get stronger, I guess you would say. Mm-hmm. Travis comes and helps us in the shop all the time, and anytime I have any questions about how to build something or paint something or anything, we get him, and I ask him, and he helps me, and sometimes he frustrates me because I don't understand what he's talking about, and I make him draw it out 3 or 4 times. But good people.
Yeah.
This week, Brandi made a roast, and she's never made a roast before, so it was this experiment. And I helped her by staying out of the kitchen to lower that frustration level of hers. And it didn't turn out the way we wanted it to. We didn't cook it at a high enough temperature for the time we wanted it. So by the time it was completed, I took it to work, and the boys loved it. Mm-hmm. They liked it so much. Phil didn't even know that you were the one that had cooked it.
I know, which is awesome. He totally thought it was Travis because Travis is a good cook.
Yeah.
So, and that story was, about how delicious my roast was. But really, you just work with good people too.
Yeah.
And I think that we're really, really lucky to have that.
Absolutely.
Because not everybody loves the people that they work with. Not everybody gets excited to see the people that they work with daily or to hang out with them not in non-work hours. Like that's something that is that we're just really, I don't know. It's really cool that we have that.
It's fortunate. We're fortunate.
We are very, very fortunate to have that.
I love it. I love my job. We're right in the heart of concert season.
Ugh, every night, people. Every night.
So it's cool to work with them in that different venue. It's not just this boring classroom setting. We're doing what we do. This is, our day jobs. Yeah. It's what we do for a living. I don't know. And
I think that for you, I think students see y'all's interaction and first of all, you guys are teachers. And so I remember when I was in school, especially when I was in like elementary school, it was weird seeing my teachers outside of school. I was like, you're a real person. You eat at restaurants? ? And so I think that students see the way that y'all interact and it's like, these are real people.
Yeah.
They know that Travis will come over and help you. They know that Phil's gonna come over and, talk crap or something.
No.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like students see the way you interact. It's something that people admire. It's something that people can look up to.
Yeah.
It's neat.
Well, it's cool. Mm-hmm. And beyond that, we have, I don't know, I feel like I have pretty good relationships with most of the people we work with.
Yeah.
And it's cool. We go pester the front office secretaries every morning during second hour because it's Phil's prep. And then we go bother Jen in the athletic office during 7th hour because it's Travis's prep. That's just, what we do.
Yeah. It's good stuff. We're lucky. So this week we want you. Last week we asked you to send us photos of where you're listening. I think this week send us photos of your work community. Show us that everyone has a special group of people that they work with and that you're proud to work with. So send us those photos. Take a selfie. Take a a big group photo and just share that with us. Whether it's on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram. Tag Small Town Podcast and let us see those photos. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah. So this week, let's talk about our guest that we have this week. This is sort of the second part, kind of the follow up to last week's or 2 weeks ago, that episode with Stephanie. This is her niece, and Halie and I. Her name is Halie. We have a really unique relationship because she was one of my first students when I was a youth minister. And so I got to be a part of, it's a crazy time in a person's life when you're in high school and when you have lots of other things going on in your personal life. And so it was neat to be able to sit down with Halie and just hear, just kind of hear from her perspective, because I have my own perspective, and we get really emotional at one point. And so we share something in common that it still affects us. And we really talk about how it shapes and grows. Both of our dads died when we were really small children. And so that's something that we have in common. And we just kind of get into a conversation about that, and we get a little bit emotional.
Cool.
Yeah. And so that's a really special moment. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that share that with us. Yeah. And so I hope that you enjoy this episode. One thing that I do want to say about Halie, just to really give her, just to really point to the kind of person that she is. I think she is the type of person that relationships are special to her. Like that's what she remembers about moments are the people that were there. And more specifically, what happened and just sort of the moments that happened. I can't think of a better word. The moments that happened with that specific person. Do you know what I mean? And so that's something really you're gonna hear this, and you're gonna hear the way she talks about all of her experiences and all of those moments. It's about the people. It's always about the people that she's with. And so I hope that you enjoy this episode. This is Halie. Hey everyone, this is my friend and somebody who I used to, she used to be in my youth ministry. That's sort of how I got to know her, but I'm very, very excited that she is the guest for this episode. Say hello, Miss Halie.
Ja, het a Halie initiate, a shihi nishne, tohaklini vashishin, tatnisani dashiche, tochitni dashinelli. Hello.
Can you just tell everyone about yourself and tell us how old you are, and also tell us where you've grown up or where you're growing up.
All right. Well, my name is Halie. So I am 20 years old. I am a student at San Juan College, about to graduate with my associates in criminal justice. So that's fun. And I grew up in Kayenta, Arizona. And it's just like a little small town in Arizona.
Yeah, super, super small town.
Super small.
Yeah. And it's just for folks who are listening, Kayenta is a reservation town. So it's really tiny, small community, very close-knit. Everybody knows everyone, pretty much.
Yeah. The one thing that everyone knows about Kayenta was the one street light. There's always one street light, like in the center of town. Uh-huh. It's just one street light.
So, is there restaurants in Kayenta?
I cannot remember. This has been like 12 years since I've been to Kayenta, but I think there was.
Yeah, I've never been there. I only know people who are from there. Like, that's it. So just put into perspective, like, what it looks like.
Well, you drive in, you hit the one street light, and then there's a road that goes, I believe, to Page, and another road that goes to Monument Valley. Mm-hmm. So there's like 2 different roads. There's like a good shopping center right in the middle of town with like a Bash's', a True Value, like a pizza place. I can't remember at the moment.
Probably a Little Caesars. Like, I feel like that's like pretty typical.
Probably. It was like I think it was called Pizza Edge.
Oh, nice. Okay.
It's like a very random pizza place. And then there's a gas station. I remember when I was small, they used to serve the most amazing breakfast burritos. And me and my dad, we'd always drive over there, get a breakfast burrito, drop me off at elementary school. And that was a lot of fun. And then there's another gas station. There's just a bunch of gas stations. Mm-hmm. And then you go towards Monument Valley, and there's like the housing complex, like the trailer park, the housing complex. Drive more, and then you run into the schools, like the high school, the elementary school, middle school. Drive more, then the hospital, and then you're off to Monument Valley.
Yeah, that's it. That's literally it.
Literally it. Like 2 miles, and you're out.
So how long did you live in Kanta?
I lived in Kanta for, I believe, 7 years.
7 years of your life.
Yeah.
Right? With your dad.
Yeah.
And
lived down there with my dad.
Yeah. And so I really love childhood adventures. Like, I love adventure stories. Do you have anything that just kind of sticks out in your mind, or that is really something very special that you remember from your childhood?
From my childhood, let's see. I was a daddy's girl. It was just me and my dad all day, every day, 365 days a year in Kanta. The one memory that there are a couple memories that I always have with him is we both had bikes. We both would have bikes, and then we would drive out of the trailer park we lived in, and then we go to like the deep part of the reservation. We would take our bikes down there, and we would just go on these like really bumpy trails. It was like so bumpy that if you hit a rock or if you hit a ditch, you would go flying off your bike. And that has happened a couple of times. Of course, I cried. My dad said, "Oh, you're all right. Just get back up." It's like, "Sure, Dad, thanks."
So you're crying and trying to also be very tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he raised me like that. So, but I remember this one time that we were biking behind the trailer park, and we came across like kind of like a dirted half pipe situation. And that thing was tall. It was like a 12 feet drop and then a 12 feet like back up. Mm-hmm. I was so scared to go down there. I was like going towards it, and then about to drop, and then you just see my dad say, "Go, Halie!" And I went down. I went like face first into the pipe, and then I went straight up with the bike, and then I think I got like 6 feet of air, and then I was just screaming my head off, like just screaming. And then you just hear my dad in the background like, "Yeah, good job!" And then I crashed on my bike into a bunch of tumbleweeds.
Yeah.
But that memory is always like comes into mind whenever I think of like a childhood memory. Mm-hmm. But me and my dad, we'd always like walk around Kanta, because it was only like 3 miles, 3 miles like in radius. But we had a lot of memories. It was always outside. We were never inside. Mm-hmm. We were always outside, either riding bikes or fixing up his old car. I can't remember what car it was, but he was so proud of that car. He would always go out there, fix it, and the interior and everything was nice, but the inside like lit up. Mm-hmm. It was like a blue lighting like surrounding everywhere. He was so proud of it. It was so cute now that I think about it. But he was always outside. We were always outside. I don't think of a time that we were ever inside, only to sleep.
And you were young. I mean, you just told us that you grew up there for the first 6 years of your life.
Yeah.
And so that's a really special time. Like, you're a small child during that time.
Small, yeah.
Yeah. And can I just tell you that most kids today still don't know how to ride a bike without training wheels, and so it's very impressive that you sort of like rode this crazy BMX trail, or I'm sure it wasn't a BMX trail, I'm sure it was just crazy, but
it was wild.
Yeah. That's impressive, ma'am. Also, it just really speaks to really just kind of how amazing your dad was for him to teach you that. You know what I mean? Like, single parent, and I don't know, that's really special, and I just admire that a lot. I think that's cool. So,
yeah, he was an amazing dad. Mm-hmm. Learned a lot from him.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, just so other folks understand who you are Stephanie's niece. Stephanie, and the niece that she raised, she was on our episode 2 weeks ago. And so that is kind of the special connection. So if you remember Stephanie's episode from a couple weeks ago, then this is her niece, and this is the brother that raised Halie for the first 6 years. And then, so what happens next?
Well, sure. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I always grew up with my dad, and then a couple of years later in 2008, my dad actually passed away from, I believe, which was a heart attack. To this day, I'm not really sure, but as I was told, it was a heart attack. And it was a hard adjustment because I thought that I was going to be going to my mom. Mm-hmm. But then Steph came and she explained it all to me to make sure I understood what was happening. I was like, oh, okay. But it was a hard adjustment going from going to a little res town in Kayenta and moving all the way to Farmington, going to a new school, meeting new friends, going into sports, because I was never social, growing up with my dad. It was always me and my dad. But since Steph started taking care of me, I had to go to these clubs, go to these sports.
Play softball.
I had to play different sports. Yeah. I had to go do all these stuff and be social. And I was shy. I was so shy. I didn't speak I think 2 words to people. I just said hi